everyone, my name is Laura and this is my very first YouTube video. So I have a feeling that anybody who actually tunes in and watches it today is already going to know who I am, but I'm still going to go through the process of introducing myself to you, letting you know a little bit about what I do and what I plan on doing with my YouTube channel. So as I said, my name is Laura. I am currently a reseller of mostly vintage products, but a lot of women's clothing and other various items as well. And I sell on eBay, I sell on Etsy. Those are my primary outlets, but I also sell on Instagram and on Poshmark. And I am not an expert at all. I'm really sort of just getting started in all of this, but I wanted to be able to use my YouTube channel as an opportunity to sort of talk about what goes into starting up and getting over some of those hurdles. In my previous history, I have worked primarily, I was always in customer service of some kind. I worked in restaurants, I worked in retail stores. As an adult, because I've been working since I was 13 years old after school jobs and things like that, as an adult, I progressed into managing staff, and my staff was always customer service oriented, and I've been in a variety of industries there as well. I worked for a cellular phone company in their call center, with their corporate clients. I worked for a financial firm where our direct clients were financial advisors who worked for the firm as well. And then I actually made a leap into animal welfare, which was what I thought was my dream job at the time. And it was my dream job at the time. And I worked for a large national organization for 6 years. And when I lost that job, I was devastated. I thought that my working life was done, at least any satisfying working life. I did then have an opportunity to work for a municipal shelter, which was also quite an experience. And due to budget cuts there, got laid off. And when that happened in January, I started relying more on selling. My selling history, it really started off as a hobby. I was never doing this very much. I used to love shopping years and years ago. I was a J. Crew Banana Republic girl. And then I turned into more of an Anthropologie, Free People, Urban Outfitters kind of style. And I was very snooty. I was sort of a, I don't want to say a label whore, but sort of a label whore. Also, I may swear a lot in this, just FYI, and to warn anybody who is sensitive. So I was very particular. I hated shopping at like Kohl's. I'm pretty sure I've never been in a Kohl's, maybe twice. I didn't like Walmart. I, sometimes bought some stuff at Target, but it's Target, come on. I didn't even like going to department stores. Like I was very particular. And then my boyfriend, he and I have been together now about 5.5 years. When we met, he liked going to thrift stores and I was disgusted. I was like, I'm not going to this. It was nasty. But, he would want to go and spend time doing stuff. So I started looking through racks to entertain myself while he was, looking through his stuff. And I started finding things that were cool. And some of it was, sort of junky but neat, Forever 21, H&M stuff. And then I started finding some Anthropologie and some Free People. And then I slowly started finding some vintage stuff. And it really opened up my ability to have more fun with my wardrobe. It's really awesome when you walk into Anthropologie. They have beautiful clothing, but a dress is like $170 and a shirt is $70. And when you're on a budget, which pretty much everybody is, you really have to be careful about the choices that you make. Can I wear this on a regular basis? This is very fancy. I remember seeing a cute little shrug once, and I think I bought one for a wedding. It was a crazy price. It was like $70 for this weird sweater that wasn't really a sweater. It only came, to here and, and I thought like, I bought it for the wedding, but then I was like, it's cool, but where else am I going to wear this? When I started thrift store shopping, I would come across these really interesting pieces that were $4 or $8, and when you see stuff like that, it's kind of like, I don't care where I'm going to wear it. Let me just buy it, So I started expanding my wardrobe and therefore started becoming a little bit more creative in the way that I was dressing. And I started getting a reputation for having a sense of style, which was a new thing for me because I did not have a sense of style. It's not that I was unfashionable, but I basically would go and like get a cute top from Anthropologie and pair it with a black pair of pants or a black skirt and some black boots, and that was it. It was, the top was the cute thing. And it started changing where I was able to put together different pieces in a creative way. And I started getting a lot of positive feedback about that, which made me feel great. Around this time, I discovered Instagram, and a friend of mine had told me, she's like, you should do a fashion blog. And I'm like, are you high? I can't do a fashion blog. I don't know what I'm doing. But I did start doing some sort of outfit of the day photos on Instagram and tagging them with a variety of different tags. And I think that I was finding some vintage pieces and they were fun, but I didn't really know anything yet. And I really don't recall when I became conscious of the fact that this is vintage and it's really cool, whatever. But at some point that happened. And so through the tags on Instagram, I started discovering other vintage people. And I just started to discover that people were selling things on Instagram, which blew my mind. I was like, this is weird. I remember my very first sale, purchase, not sale, my first purchase. I do remember my first sale. My first purchase was a pair of these Siamese cat salt and pepper shakers. They were $7 shipped. And I thought, okay, it's a good risk to take. It's $7. If somebody screws me, I'm not out a lot of money. I had no idea how any of this stuff worked at the time. They were really cute. I had them for a long time. I eventually ended up giving them to someone as part of a swap gift. They were adorable. And so I was like, okay, this works well. I remember one of my first experiences with someone, I was trying to purchase a bag from her and she wanted me to send her the money via friends and family. And I was like, I don't think so. Like, this doesn't seem right. And she actually had an Etsy shop and everything. And so I just sort of didn't respond. I wasn't comfortable with any of this yet. So when she said, oh, you can send me friends and family through PayPal, and I didn't respond to her email. And then she said, oh, or you can, I can send you an invoice if you prefer. And I just instantly, I unfollowed her. I didn't, and it's a shame. Her shop was beautiful, but my feeling with that is a lot of what drives the way that I run my own business. I will never ask somebody to send me money via friends and family. I actually had a great customer the other day offer to send it to me. And I was like, you know what, let's keep this on the up and up. I don't want you ever to feel uncomfortable, no matter what our interactions are. You don't know me. And, I want there to be some level of protection there for both of us, just in case, So anyway, my first sale on Instagram, I remember, I think this was my first sale. It was my first one that I was scared about. Was I sold some Pyrex dishes, Friggies, and I sold them to Allison Kapner of Allison Kapner Originals. And she was a huge store for me. I bought a lot of stuff from her. And I was very happy that my first sale was going to her, because when I packed these things, I was I was like sure that these were going to shatter in the mail. And I researched how to package things, and I packed them, and I even took a photo of it. And I was like, how does this look? Do you think it's going to make it? So it went well. And I just started slowly selling on Instagram as a hobby, as a fun thing to do when you're going thrift store shopping and you're finding all this neat stuff. And I was learning about all of these things, about Pyrex, about Catherine Holm, about, kitschy little weird stuff. And now you sort of have an excuse to buy it. You might not want to keep it in your house, but it's awesome. And now you're like, I can buy it and I can resell it. So I started doing that as my hobby, and it was a lot of fun. I branched into Etsy very slowly. And then after I lost my job this year, I made the decision to try to start doing some work on eBay as well. And I've slowly started becoming somebody who was doing this for fun, turning into someone who was doing it to sort of help get by while I was waiting to find another job. And now I'm actually at the point where I think I'm going to be doing this as my job, which blows my mind as well, because I've always known I am not the kind of person who can work from home. I don't feel like I have the concentration, like I have the will, I'm not thinking of the right word here at all. I don't feel like I have the self-discipline to really be able to do this from home. And it's a constant struggle for me daily. And I think some of that is a little bit about what I want this channel to be about. I've been watching a lot of resellers. I've been watching a lot of message boards on Facebook and things like that. And there are constant threads of advice that you will hear over and over again. And I am one of those people who sometimes, I don't know if I take things too personally, it's entirely possible, but there will be pieces of advice that are either given in a way that bothers me, or the advice itself seems like something that's not feasible for me to do. What I've learned over these past few months specifically is that a lot of things that I initially thought that's not going to work for me are starting to work for me. And I think that some of the big lessons for all of these things are that you have to be able to apply them to yourself in a way that works for you and in a way that makes you feel comfortable. And yes, you have to push your boundaries and sometimes step outside of your comfort zone. But how can you manage to do that and still feel good about what you're doing every day and still feel like you're not being taken advantage of, like you're not getting screwed over somehow, like you're not losing money when you're trying to make money? And I've learned a lot about myself through this, and I want to be able to be that place where newer resellers can come and talk about some of these issues. International shipping, accepting returns, getting started on eBay, negotiating, which I don't know that I have good advice for you on that yet. I suck. But all of these things made me really uncomfortable at first. And I took baby steps to get into them. And sometimes it really is just a leap of faith. You know, I am very good at saying, well, this and this and this could all go wrong. And what if this happens and you're not protected here? And this is, and sometimes all of those things are true, but it just doesn't really happen that often. It's like getting hit by a train. You know, yes, this is risky, but how often is that really going to happen? You know, versus some of the things where there might be a way to address those risks. So, you know, maybe you just don't have all the facts. So that's kind of what I want to talk about in my videos in general. I'm referring to notes. I wrote notes for you guys. So what I thought I could do for you specifically today is a couple of different things. I do have a couple of items that sold. I normally do haul videos, and I love doing haul videos because I love sourcing. I am great at sourcing. That's not necessarily true. I enjoy it a lot, and I do it frequently. I am terrible at listing. My goal for the beginning of 2017 has been to do 25 listings a day, and I've been sucking ass at it. I've been doing maybe 10 listings a day, and days where I have to do a lot of shipping really cripples me. So I have to learn how to deal with that. But I do love doing my haul videos. Instead of, I didn't plan to have a haul today. I actually do have a little one, which everybody who knows me will sort of laugh at that because I never planned to have one and I always end up having one. But this really was an unexpected thing with a kind of neat story. But I thought I would show you some of the stuff that I've sold recently. And it's kind of packaged up, but I think you guys will get it. And I think that's an important thing to do as well, is look at some of the stuff that's been successful. So one of the first things I have that sold, I'm just going to show this to you in its package because I don't want to refold it. I'm sorry. This is a t-shirt that I sold. It's B. Klebon is the artist. He draws that cat, which I'm sure you guys have all seen before. And this shirt is, the cat is fixing the clock. It says, Mr. Fix It. This is like a big size t-shirt. It's a 2XL, I think it was. I purchased this because another seller friend of mine, Crystal at Go Plethora, who also has a YouTube channel, by the way, and an Instagram, and an eBay, and an Etsy, and all of it, Poshmark. Crystal talked about this particular cat, that they do well for her. And another thing that she meant that seems to be a known thing, or that larger sizes will do well on eBay. So I did pick this up in a Goodwill. I think it was $3. I ended up selling it for $19.99 plus shipping. So that's a nice return. That's a decent $15 return. About, you know, approximately. Me and math are not really great friends all the time. So that was good. This, also not unfolding it, I'm so sorry, is a Woody Woodpecker pillowcase. And he would have been about $1.50 max. I can't remember if it was on sale. I know where I got it, and the store that I got it in, about $1.50. 99 cents if I was lucky, you know, 75 cents to $1 if it was on sale. The hem is coming loose, but I was still able to sell him for, I think he was also $15, which may have included shipping, but that's still a pretty decent return. And that was also through eBay. This, I will unfold a little because you can't even tell what it is. This thing has been a pain in my hoo-ha. Let's see. It's a Charlie Brown Peanuts twin flat sheet. You can see it's got these little sleepover theme. So everybody's in bed, and some of them are like, I like having friends sleep over. And then Lucy's like, I like sleeping in my own bed, whatever. So it's cute. Twin flat sheet. I put it up on eBay with as $34.99 for best offer with free shipping. And of course, I went compared to what had sold, what was currently available. I was getting a bunch of offers that I considered way too low. And so a couple of times I'd reached out to people and responded back, $29.99. And this is another tip I picked up from Crystal. I would reply with $29.99 as my counter offer, and then just say, this is the lowest that I'm willing to accept at this time. Because if I had this for a year, maybe I'll feel differently. I don't know. But it was literally listed like 2 days. I said, this is the lowest I'm willing to accept at this time. If you decide to purchase it, it's ready to be shipped to you today. So I finally got an offer for $30. Oh my goodness, cat on my lap. And I accepted it immediately, and here it goes. Bye-bye. So all 3 of those items were from eBay, which I've only recently started getting comfortable with. Best offer is sort of a new venture for me, including some shipping is a new venture for me. I'm trying different things that other resellers have talked about to see if it helps increase my sales. There is a reason why I didn't try them before, and there's a reason why I feel like it's appropriate now, and I don't necessarily think that everyone should be doing those things, and I'll talk about that someday. Not today, probably. But, sorry, this cat is very needy. This is Jelly Bean. You guys will also learn, I told you I worked in animal welfare. I also did private animal rescue for many years. And so I have a lot of kitties, and some of them are very annoying, like Jelly Bean here. She's very affectionate, but very needy. Anyway, so that was my little sold haul, because I thought that was exciting. It's fun to see results. It's always great to see what did you get, and to say, well, I paid $1 for this. I think I can sell it for $10. Yay me. But we don't always get to see the actual results of stuff. So I thought I would go through that because I had them readily available. So I'm driving in the car with my boyfriend today, and I'm talking to him about doing this series of YouTube videos and sort of addressing these things that I think that I am going to be able to address effectively. Like, people don't want to do returns and they argue about it, but all the experienced resellers are like, dude, you got to take returns. It's part of customer service. And I think that it is. But I understand why some people have a hard time getting to that place. And that's what I want to be able to help people do. And one of the things I talked to him about was this whole concept of getting outside of your comfort zone and leaving money on the table. There are certain terms that I think are hysterically, like, everybody makes fun of corporate speak, but I think that the resellers have their own corporate speak, catchphrases, and leaving money on the table is one of them. And there are probably 752,000 categories where you could potentially be leaving money on the table. And if you are someone who has the tendency to buy too many things and not list them, and I think that a lot of us have that tendency, and that's part of the reason why we do this, is because we love the acquisition. And this is a way to help us not be crazy. And some of us are not successful at not being crazy. So, but if you're constantly looking at things going, I can get $1 for that, I can get $5 for that, I'm leaving money behind when I don't do this, you can develop a problem. So I do think it's okay to not get into every area. But I also think that it is important to venture out. Again, my good friend Crystal talks a lot about this, how, and a lot of people talk about this. Nicole from States Place talks about it, and I'm sure that Jay and Nate talk about it, but, the business changes frequently, and your own interests change frequently. I may love selling Pyrex today, and 3 weeks from now, I'm like, oh my God, this is boring. So you need to be able to vary what you're doing. And if you have found something that's a niche for you and it consistently brings in money and you're happy being there, that's great. But I do think that it's a valuable tool to be able to expand what you're doing. When I started doing this, I was only doing vintage. And I did a lot of vintage clothing. I loved vintage clothing. It was so much fun to find. And I was doing some vintage housewares. I had a lot of fun doing Pyrex. I used to find a lot of Pyrex, and I really don't anymore. That's sort of dried up for me a little bit. And that's another thing to keep in mind, is that things that are available to you today may not always be available. And who knows why that is, you know. As I've become more serious about reselling, I've started realizing that to be able to keep it moving, you need to list things that are going to get attention and sell quickly. I'm sorry, I never want to say you need to do this, because I think that it's different for everybody, but it's definitely beneficial, I think. And I think that it could be beneficial for me. So I've started looking at people who are selling things that bring in a $10 profit, $15 profit, and saying, okay, well, maybe that's something I should be doing. I haven't wanted to waste the time on it before. But that's an important aspect to me. I have to take time photographing. I have to take time, maybe I have to iron it. Maybe I have to wash it. Maybe I have to do any number of things to make this presentable and be able to sell it. I have to use shipping supplies. And I look at all of that and say, is a $10 profit worth that? And sometimes looking at that individual thing, no, it's not worth a $10 profit to go through all of that work, the research, all of it. But sometimes you have these 5 things that are all $10 profits that maybe took more time than you wanted, which again, that's an inexperience thing. When I get more experience, I think I'll be faster at listing, need to do less research, etc. But those 5 $10 profit items might help bring more attention to my eBay store, which will then help me sell the $80 profit item. And that's why I'm interested in doing this. I want the movement. I want to become a bigger store, and I want to be able to sell more. I don't think that I ever want to be at a point where I need to hire an assistant. Some people are like that. I don't know that I want to be there. Maybe I'll change my mind about that later too. So I don't know if you guys watch The Good Wife, but there is an episode where she becomes the state prosecutor. I forget what her actual title is. And all of these people are coming to her asking for favors now that they've gotten her into office. And she learns to tell them, all options are open to me at this time. She doesn't mean it, but you know, that's what she tells them. And that's sort of how I'm choosing to look at things. All options are open to me at this time, and I'm just gonna see how things go. So I'm out with the boyfriend today, talking about my plans for this video, and we're driving to go pick up some stuff that I sold from another location. That's another story for another day. And we passed by an estate sale. So I'm like, cool. So we pop into the estate sale. To me, it was a crappy estate sale because it was all modern stuff. I don't want any of it. I wasn't interested in any of it. But there were a bunch of CDs there, and my boyfriend loves CDs. And in talking to him on the car ride down, CDs was very specifically one of the things I talked about as something. Jay on Thrifty Business talks about CDs and media all the time, and that if you're not looking at these, you're leaving money on the table. And I've always been like, God, you know what? Like when I go into a thrift store, I have a limited amount of time and I know what I want to hit, and I hit these areas. And sometimes I do discover something new, but CDs take so much time to look through, and I don't know anything about them. I literally would have to research almost every single one. So I don't do it. And it was just funny that we specifically mentioned that. Then we go to this estate sale where there's really nothing I'm interested in at all. And, but my boyfriend wants to look through the CDs. So I'm like, all right, let me look through the CDs. And I started noticing that a ton of them are completely in the package and new. So, and they also had some old Broadway show tunes, which I used to listen to Broadway show tunes all the time, and I don't have them anymore. So I got a CD for myself to listen to because I'm a dork. But anyway, so I wanted to go through some of those for you, you know, pretty briefly. I literally, I'm knocking this pile over. I literally had no idea what these are. I don't know if they're good or awful or what. I don't know. I just took them. Mostly because they were new in package, or they looked like maybe they're good. My boyfriend does know some more, so he can be helpful, but we didn't really discuss it. I'm going to go through these for you. This first one, by the way, this is significantly more clean than it was before. I'm sorry, this is all backwards. Big River, which apparently was a Broadway show, which I did not know, about Huckleberry Finn. I don't know why I got this, because this was filthy when I picked it up. For some reason, I was compelled to get it. I was compelled poorly because it's not really a big deal. But these CDs, by the way, were all $1 each, which was also disappointing to me. We bought, I think, 37 CDs total between my boyfriend and I And I kind of expected that they'd be like, oh, just give us 20 bucks for all of them. And they didn't do that. And I'm a terrible negotiator, so I didn't negotiate. My boyfriend's good at it. I don't know why he didn't try to, but maybe because I just took out the money. And sometimes he just shuts up and doesn't, you know, bother me. And sometimes he's like, what are you doing, you crazy person? I don't know. So this was $1. Looking it up on eBay. Where did my comps go? All right. The best I found was one that was in very good condition, sold for $10 shipped. So maybe I can get 8 for this. This might be a total loser venture. I don't know. But this is a learning experience for me today, and that's how I'm looking at it. This next one I got was called Essential Jazz. This is a Time Life music, which you can't see because I'm going to need to get a real webcam, I think, obviously. This is new in package. So I looked this up. This one did not have any sold. It had a few of them that were currently available that were not very great prices, $7.50, $5.50. All of these include shipping. All of the prices I'm going to talk about include shipping, just for brevity. So I decided I'll try and put this up for $10 shipped because all the ones that I saw that were available were used. So I was like, all right, 10 shipped. So, you know, that's that. This next one is a weird little, this is called In the Garden, Hymns in Jazz. Again, not something I care about. Looks boring to me. New in package. Also, no solds. The prices were sort of all over the place. There were a couple that were, there was only one available currently in the US. And by the way, I looked these all up on my phone, on the app on my phone, which I know doesn't always give you the best information. If you're looking it up from a desktop computer, I think that you get, or from the browser, but you know, you get more information from the solds. I think it only goes back a more brief period of time on the app. But I only found one available for like 10 bucks shipped. There were some others that were available internationally for more like in the $20 range. So I thought maybe I'll toss it up for 15 bucks shipped and see what happens. Which would, if it's sold for 15 bucks shipped, that is not a terrible return. So $1 plus, I don't know media mail. I think it's like, let's say $2.75, right? $3.75. So let's just say $4, $15 shipped. So $10, $11 profit. Also, I don't really know what the fees end up being on that, you know. So this is all very roundabout numbers. This one also a stupid, yucky, boring. Hymnscapes, musical horizons of inspiration and faith. It was a whole series. Sorry for the bad lighting and the backwardsness and all of it. But this thing, again, no solds. There was one that was available for $4 used. This is new in package still. Maybe it's a dud. Maybe I'll be able to get like $8 shipped for it. I don't know. I will probably end up posting all of these just because I have them. And it's a learning experience for me. I have never sold CDs before. I feel like it's a lot of, I don't know if it's a lot of work. Probably photographing an unopened CD is not that hard. But I feel like it's just not where I want to spend my time. Again, maybe that'll change. Mediri Brothers, Trees. I don't know. This is like, I don't even know what this is. Mediri Brothers. Again, there were almost no comps. I figure maybe I'll do $10 shipped. Hoo-ha. I'll try and be, I mean, most of these pretty much, let's see, nothing, Anyone Can Whistle, some weird Broadway show. You know, again, I can probably do 10 shipped. Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the golden age of Hollywood musicals. And these are all still new in package, which is why I bought them. Probably I can get 10 bucks shipped. This is a series of 3. Part of the reason I picked them up, all new in package, but also all 3 by the same artist. And that's another thing that Jay on Thrifty Business will talk about, is lotting them together. So if you have a bunch of duds or things that you just don't feel are worth it, stick them all in a lot and sell them that way. All 3 of these CDs individually, whatever, Lorraine Nelson Wolf is the artist on them. I don't have no idea what she does. All 3 of these individually did not have any sold comps that I found, but they were all going for about 15 bucks each shipped if you wanted to purchase one now. So I don't know. I'll figure out, will it be more worth it for me to list them at 15 bucks each shipped? Maybe. And I usually try and go a little bit lower, That's sort of my tactic for a lot of things, is I will try and, because I want to be, why am I an attractive option? Because I'm less than this. If there's 15 of them available and they're all new in package, what's going to make somebody buy it from me? You know, besides maybe it looks good, maybe the right title, whatever, but going a little bit under. So I might do that. I don't know if I'll lot them together. I'll think about it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll be so sick of listing CDs by then that that's what I'll do. So that was all of those. And I have a bunch of others that were all sort of the same thing. Not great solds, you know. I think that pretty consistently, I've got cats fighting each other. Stop it, please. I think pretty consistently I can list them for like $10 shipped each. The thing that I found that was a little bit more exciting to me was this lot of CDs. So there's 9 or 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 11. There's 11 of them. And they are a Time Life series of the rock and roll era. So there's all different years, and each year from 1954 up to 1965. So these were solds ranged from about 35 to 55 plus shipping, which was nice. I'm sorry, there was 25 plus shipping and then 55 plus shipping. But when I thought about it, if I do $50 plus shipping, I'm still looking at maybe, you know, there's 10 of these, it's $5 per CD. I don't know that that's better. So I'm not sure how I'll list these yet. If I'll list them as a lot, I didn't really research them one by one. These are open. They were not new in package, which will make a difference. But the ones that I found in comps were also open. So I'll see. It's a neat learning experience, if nothing else. It may be the universe's way of trying to tell me, yes, Laura, you need to look at these areas that other resellers are telling you to look at. Or it may also just be the universe's way of saying, you know, you need to be open to it. Who knows? I don't know. So I'll try and stick those up and see how that goes. If nothing else, what will happen is those are probably all going to be fairly easy to list, and they'll get me some action in my eBay account, which won't be bad. But that's pretty much all that I have for today, my first video, my introductory video. I hope to do these frequently. I don't know how frequently. It'll definitely be more than once a week. It may be as frequently as once a day. I'm not quite sure. But the way that this video is, I recognize that this is pretty crappy looking quality. I don't know what the streaming was like. And it makes everything backwards. So I feel like I'm going to have to get a webcam or figure out how to fix that. And I will try to do that for you guys. But I appreciate anyone who watched live or who watches me in the future. And please feel free to leave comments. If you left a comment live and I didn't respond to it, I am sorry. I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. I just see myself on a screen, so I'm not really sure how I'm going to be able to view that. And I have one tiny little crappy laptop, so maybe it's harder and because I don't have two screens. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, thank you all so much, and I will see you next time, I hope.